everybody. I'm trying to see if I can't get this thing to work properly so you guys can see the there we go. All right, so let's see if we can't make that a little more even. All right, so I got that. Got that. Like to get that. Let's see here. Okay, so sorry, just trying to figure out how to do the controls on this. I figure if there's a better way to do this, but I think this is what I'm stuck with. Yeah, it's not giving me the not giving me an option to move it, so it's going to intrude a little bit. So I'm going to actually back this up a little bit. Hey, welcome, Filthy Casual Gamer. I saw you joined recently. Not sure how well this is going to go, but I figured since I also do 3D printing, I'd include a live 3D printing feed, see if that worked pretty well or not. And the only thing is it doesn't show the braiding as much. I'd like it if I could get the right a little smaller. I wonder if there's a way to... Probably have to put it on a different monitor. Well, thank you. So you know what I'm talking about. Yep, I enjoyed being on there. That was fun. I didn't really get a chance to talk to him too much in person at the Philly event, but it was nice to talk to him on his stream. What's being made, it's a special project for an event I'm going to in a couple of months. I can't say exactly what it is at this point because they want to have it as a surprise, but it's a mechanical mechanism, and this is one layer of it being printed. It should, if I stream for about 2 hours, it should get almost all the way to the end. Suppose I could keep it like this for a while, and then every so often bump it up to full screen so people can get a better picture of what's going on there, and then bump it back down like that. Okay. Alrighty, so that looks, let's even that up just, the fish angle lens is a little bit off, but anyway, I should get started braiding. I've roughly got 2 hours to do this stream. I might end earlier, depends on how hot it gets up here, since I don't have any air conditioning, and how tired I get, but I got a good night's sleep last night. So I'm hoping that I won't have any issues. And a little over 2 hours, that should be done. Oops. I need to go over 4 on the top. That should be done printing. And I'll be ready for the next one. Turns out I got to make one more part than I had thought I would need to get this test version done before I do the full size. This one's being printed at about 250% larger than the designer made the files. And it looks like they're going to want it at about 500% larger. So I want to make sure it works at this level before I use all of the 3D printing filament up in something that may not work. So I also want to make sure the person I was making it for was happy with it and could pick the colors they want. So this is just the test one. Next one will be alternating or have red and green in it. So gamers, since you're relatively new on this channel, any questions you have, anything about the history of braiding or just CNC braiding creative stuff in general, or if you just want to watch, that's fine too. But I do appreciate you subscribing. That helps me a lot. and I hope I can provide entertaining content for you. All right, let's see. Had one jump a pin. Doesn't work quite so well if they're not all on the right pins. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, yeah, I'm ready to start on the bottom on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Under 3, over 4. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 4 on the top, and under 3 on the bottom. Actually, I can give you a pretty good idea of what's actually being made. Let me try this real quick. Go over here, go to the dashboard. It's a bit smaller on the right, but here on the left, you can kind of see the, there we go. That's what's going to be printed. And it's gotten to the point where it's, let me go ahead and move this back to the webcam version. There we go. It has gotten to the point where it's doing the infill. So the outer 3 layers are together, and the interior space that wouldn't be seen from the outside is having kind of like a lattice work built up in it to support it, so it doesn't like flex or twist or rotate or anything like that. But it saves a lot of filament, and you don't have to. You're not making something that's like solid plastic. And okay, ready for the next side. The material I'm using is PETG, which I don't remember the exact term, but it's a fairly common plastic. It prints reasonably well. You can sand and paint on it, so it's nice for arts and crafts type projects, or stuff where you might need to like cut, file, or modify so things fit together better. And my day job uses it a lot in clear sheet form, and under the brand name of Vivac, and we use it for making things like sneeze and shield guards for different type of like food assembly equipment, so that keeps the potential contamination on food lines down. So, alrighty, getting close to where we're ready to do a coma slide. And for those who aren't familiar with this braiding process, as I braid along, all of the threads keep moving further and further back towards me, and eventually I run out of pin block space for the design. And so what I have to do is I have to pull a block from the front, slide the rest of the stuff forward, and then put the block on the back. So I've got kind of a continuous infinity movement. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure I did that one right. Give me just a second, make sure I did that correctly. 3 over 4 under 3. Yep, that came out easy. I did that move right. And 1, 2, 3, 4 under 3 over 4. So the other projects I'm working on today is I am trying to make a wood sign for gaming tents for a medieval event that I work at. So what I did is I bought some relatively decent quality pine, not really knotty or overly warped, And I am going to be cutting it to the length I need, planing it down to from about 1 inch commercial, meaning like closer to 7/8 thickness, down to about 1/2 inch to keep the weight of the sign down. And then I am going to take the pieces and route out text on them and a couple of designs, then glue them together edge on. So, because I'm using 1x10, and the sign's going to be about 20 inches high and about 30 inches wide. So once I glue the edges on, then I'm going to, when it's done, just let it. I don't think I'm going to use dowels on the edges, but I may. I just have to think about that. But once I get it glued together, then I'm going to go ahead and assemble a 1x1 framer on the back border, glue that on and screw it in so that it holds it nice and steady, and hopefully will keep any force that might accidentally split that wood seam or that wood glue seam apart from acting on it. And then we'll go ahead and paint it, and it should be ready to go. But I got 2 of those signs to do, and they have to be done by early July. So I need to get started on that. I was also thinking I might go ahead and stream the process of doing the programming for that. Trying to figure a way to provide like a slightly more diverse amount of commentary and whatnot. Oops, looks like we lost somebody. Hopefully it wasn't something I said. Okay, did get that one done. All right, so it's time for a coma slide. So I'm going to, let's see. So remove that. Okay, that works. That I don't have to reshare it then. So lift the block up, put it at the back, slide it forward, lift the block up, put it back, slide it forward. There we go. And let's roll this up a little bit. I'm definitely making really good progress on this braid. All right, so 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. And I have to make sure that each time I move one over, I unroll it just a little bit so they don't get too high further down the road. Because each time I cross them over, it pulls them up a couple inches. And okay. Whenever I have one that accidentally jumps the pen because of how I move my hand through, and then I go back to it, I get a little nervous. It's like, okay, that's not where I should be on my side. And it's like, did I mess up? Did a pin jump or a thread jump over a pin? This particular design, combined with how thick I've made the threads, makes it relatively easy to put things back where they're supposed to be. All right, so 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. Probably should have that back in. There we go. Whoops. There we go. That's the format I want. All right. on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, under the fourth one, over 4 on the top, under 3 on the back. And over the top on the right. Let's see, let me check the Rumble side. I had a question I put in the chat. Okay, 2 people watching over there. Yeah, I was wanting to know if I went ahead and have started selecting the higher resolution streaming option, which unfortunately turns off the DVR option for the Rumble stream. But I figured for this type of streaming, it's probably worth it. And I keep them up so people can go back over it later on rewatching. Yes, they want people to be able to clearly see the information presented on the edge of this. It's going to be an adjustable display, and they want to be able to make sure that people can see it from at least 20 or 30 feet away. So they don't have to go right up next to it because it's going to have to be kept behind a counter area. And making it larger makes it easier to see. It'll also make it somewhat easier to use it as well. Makes it to where I have more. It's a relatively tight tolerance for a 3D printing project. There's going to be like about 20 pieces in it all told when it's done. And normally needs fairly tight tolerances as a 3D printing job. The larger you make it, the more you can mess around with the tolerances a little bit. All right. We look symmetrical, so I know where I'm supposed to be. Actually, I think, yeah, since this isn't actually, now that I think about the conversations we're having, since it was a relatively public discussion of options for what we're doing, I can say what it is. It's basically a odometer counter for attendance at a large event. And this isn't going to be like machine or computer operated. Somebody's going to have to hand roll it to roll the odometer count over. But yeah, I'm printing out like a set of rings and the internal gearing to make sure it works with like 2 digits. And then once that's done, I can do it for the number of digits it's going to need. But I'm not going to show the finished project online until it's ready to go. And probably most of the people who watch this aren't going to, well, I don't know. I can't really say that. They may or may not know of or be going to that event. But like I said, the request for ideas for this was fairly public, so it should be okay to say what it is. But what I'm showing here isn't what the finished product is going to look like. Okay. But I think we're operating under the rule of cool here. It's going to be a cool thing to have there. So. The rule of cool being like in role-playing games, where something that isn't really quite within the rules happens, but people agree to allow it because it's a really cool thing. As long as it doesn't, make it unpleasant for everybody else involved with the game. And if anybody has a major objection, they just don't do it. 1, 2, 3 under the fourth, over 4 on top, and under 3 on the bottom. Yep, it does somewhat resemble that. And this is part of Or this one's an end cap for the mechanism, where all of the internals are built off of. So, and what's actually being printed now won't actually be seen in the finished device. The other reason I'm using PETG for printing this is one of the more common filaments that people print with is PLA, which at about 130 degrees gets kind of soft and can warp relatively easily. So you can't make it for anything that might be like in a hot car and whatnot. So this thing is probably going to be stored in a trailer over the course of most of the summer, where it can get fairly hot inside. And I don't want to make something that is just the next year when people bring it out to put it up, it's just going to be a slumped mess or warped enough that it's no longer usable. Okay. And 4 on there. 4, yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. I also got the wood for the warping frame for Rob's braid. And I'm also going to be cutting those pieces to length. And I'm probably not going to glue them. I'm likely to just screw them together. So in case I need to break it down for storage, that'll be possible. And probably have to sand it a little bit just because I don't want threads catching on the wood. Once I get that together, then I need to get like about 26 binder clips, 24 of them at the like 1-inch size and 2 of them at the 2-inch binder clip size. And those will be the guides for the thread, so I can gather them all together and roll up the tama. That one's probably, as I think about it, that one's probably going to require 2 people to do fairly well, because you kind of have to pull it out to the length you need and then have somebody identify and mark the center of it. So, and then you tie off the one end, the person at the other end cuts it off, and then pulls it through the D ring where on the Takadai, and then rolls up the other end, and then you can set them there. So it should still be quite a bit faster. So, at least that's what I'm hoping for, where I can like set it up in like maybe about 5 hours instead of 20. But yeah, normally I spend like about 5 minutes just walking in circles to warp up the tama. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. There we go. And 1, oops, nope, I'm done on that side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4 on the top. Pass that on through. And 1. Let's see, do I have 1 jump over? Okay. Just getting close to where I need to do the coma slide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4. Pass that one on through. Nope. I'm doing something wrong here. All right, Sit at 4 and 4. That explains it. And 1, 2, 3, under the fourth one, over 4 on the top, under 3 on the back, top back one, passes through the shed to the top right. Well, it looks like we gained somebody back again. We're back up to 3, which actually is pretty good for a Sunday afternoon. Okay, 1, 1, 1, and 1. Yep. All right, I'll do one more, and then it's time for coma slide. 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. And under 1, under over, under the third, over 4 on the top, under 3 on the back, bottom, pass that 1 on through, and under, over, under the bottom, over the top, under the bottom, over the top, under the bottom, over the top, under the next 3 on the bottom, over the last 4 on the top. Take the bottom one that you left alone, pass that on through to the right, tap it, and under the first, over the first, under, over, and for the fourth under, we go under that, we go over 4 on the top, and then under the last 3 on the bottom. Take the top one on the back, pass it on through to the top on the right. And there we go. Time for a coma slide. There we go. And let's roll this up. It's a little difficult because this D-ring is not yet ready to go all the way around. Okay. And under, over, under, over, under, over, under 3 on the bottom, over the last 4 on the top, leave the last on the bottom alone, pass it on through to the other side, and under and over, under and over, under the third, over 4 on the top, under the last 3 on the bottom, take the last one on the top and pass it on through to the other side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4. Oops, looks like this one's a little caught. Doesn't want to unroll properly. So let's unravel it enough to, okay, there we go. So this goes through here, and there we go. All right, so have it hanging down over the top. I realize purple doesn't show up that well. So, and just take and wrap it around like this, catch it with your finger, take the other side, continue on around and over the top, and let it pull, and you've got it. And 1, 2, 3, under the fourth, over 4 on the top, under 3 on the bottom and the back. Take the top one, pass on through to the other side. Go. And 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. And 1, oops, this one's kind of split over 2 pins. Fix that, all right. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4 on the top, under the last 3 on the bottom and the back. and pass on through. I'm just trying to think of what else to discuss today. I've been thinking a moderate amount, but mostly kind of like non-verbal things, just mentally trying to get in the appropriate gears to get stuff done today. After I'm done with here, I gotta run out real quick to pick something up. Trying to figure out when I can schedule the next stream for today. I may not be able to do that with what I'm trying to get done, so I might go ahead and do 2 tomorrow instead. Since my wife and I both have tomorrow off, so I might go ahead and do an early one and schedule it tonight before I go to bed, and then do like an afternoon one, like sometime around like 5 o'clock Eastern time. Just trying to get things going. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4. I think I caught most of the last Friday Night Frenzy. It's relatively live, at least far enough until they read my super chat, but I don't think they kept up for much longer after that. So I think, let's see. Sorry, not as verbal as I normally try and be on these streams. I think because of the time of the day, I'm mostly in planning mode. At work, I'm figuring out how to do things and don't tend to get more social until like later in the day. But doing a completely silent stream is more than rude. And the Monster Hunter Facebooks have like a Facebook groups. The main one has a writer's promo post they do once a week, and this time around they did the blog post for people that are on there. You know, blogs, YouTube channels, and streams and the like. So I went ahead and posted something there. So I don't know if I'll be getting anybody from there, but it would be nice. I figure most people have finished watching the replay on Friday Night Frenzy at this point, because the boost in people subbing to the channel has kind of slowed down to maybe like 1 or 2 a day from like the 20 I got in about 36 hours. So if that keeps going on semi-regularly, I should hopefully hit 1,000 before the end of summer. And then it's just a matter of producing enough content that people watch to get me to 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 4 on the top, and under 3 on the bottom. Get enough people to watch it to where it gets over 4,000 watch hours in a year. And currently, with the boosts I'm getting about ballpark of 220 watch hours per month. which is only a little over halfway of what I need to get to be there, but hopefully the more people subscribe, the more people will wind up watching, which will be nice. Sorry if I'm focusing on that. Things are a little tight. I should be fine long term. But to be able to have the tools to stream in high enough quality so that people can see this is starting to impact my budget a bit. StreamYard's like about $50 a month just to be able to stream in high resolution. I know I can use OBS, but since part of my plan is to have people come on and go on to other people's streams, I really need to Okay. Just took me a minute to figure out where I was. I need to be able to use a tool that other people are comfortable with using. And StreamYard has become essentially the de facto standard for multi-guest streaming or guest streaming. Hey, Spunky Diva, welcome to the stream. Yep. The nice thing is if once you get the 3D printer tuned, you can start it and let it run, which is actually kind of necessary because admittedly the ones I'm doing right now are only like 1 to 3 hours per part, but when they get relatively large, they can be like actually a couple of days. One of the more popular things that people seem to like printing these days is Mandalorian helmets and the like. And you need a printer that's kind of as large as mine to print it all in one go. But yeah, it takes usually a day or more to be able to print something that large. So, I've been considering it, but I don't really do a lot of cosplay. I know some people say that being in the SCA, you're cosplaying, but the way the SCA works, it's more like they're just the clothes or the uniform you wear. And you're essentially cosplaying yourself if you were in the Middle Ages as opposed to cosplaying an actual character. So while I understand the comparison, that's just not really the way I look at it. Not that I have a problem with people who do, because, hey, I do the things that I'm comfortable, or I look at things the way I look at them and don't require anybody else to look at things the way I do, because that just sounds tiring. May not agree, but hey, I'm not them. They're not me. 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. The other thing is I probably haven't really eaten enough today. Did have a bowl of cereal, but that was, I don't know. Actually, I tend not to eat all that much before about lunchtime anyway, but it's after lunchtime now. My usual workday eating regimen is for the first, we have 2 breaks and a lunch. For the first and second breaks, I usually have one of the flavored tuna foil packets that you can get relatively cheap. They tend to be about under 100 calories. It's mostly protein, and it's tasty. I like it, and I don't really feel hungry if I eat those. And lunch, I have something like microwavable or relatively low calorie. I tend to do like noodle bowls from the local Oriental market. Actually, it's a Korean market, but they do other Asian cultures, plus they have a bit of Hispanic, Mexican type food as well. A little bit of Indian too, but not a whole lot of that. Just a second here on the take-up reel. There we go, that's better. And I'm probably a little low on my caffeine intake today. I actually had 2 migraines in the last week, which is, since I switched to the CPAP, that's the most I've had. Previous to that, there's like a 6-week gap since the previous migraine. And I think it was almost entirely due to the fact I got what they call a Wawa energy shot thing. Wawa being a local convenience store chain. They make drinks and stuff like that. I had roughly the equivalent to a milkshake with that tossed in. And it's supposed to be, healthy energy type thing. And it was more than just caffeine. And about a day after it hit, and a day after I had it, started feeling what felt like a caffeine withdrawal headache starting. And taking some more caffeine did not really help with that. And about 3 or 4 hours in, it converted to a migraine with the visual effects. And it's like, okay, that's a bit out of the ordinary for me, but I'm pretty sure that I did that in the wrong order. Okay, so yellow up there. Okay, yep, I didn't move the first one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do 3 over 4 on the top. This should look better. All right, there we go. The part I'm 3D printing is a manual counter odometer type thing for keeping track of attendance at an event I go to. There we go. Now that's symmetrical. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. Okay, I think I just realized the reason I am not as alert and with it as I usually am is because I'm late for my second dose of caffeine today. So after I complete this particular cycle, I'm just going to run down and grab that and be right back up so I can get back up to speed here. And on 4, under 3, over 4. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, under the 4th, over 4 on top, and under 3 on the bottom. Pass that on through. And I will be back momentarily. Gonna grab some caffeine and a seltzer to drink it. There we go. I should definitely pep up in a little bit. I'm not sleepy. I just not active, I guess would be the best way to put it. And this is not a sponsorship or anything, but I really like this brand of seltzer. No sugar, no sweeteners, just some flavor and carbonated water. Though my refrigerator is probably set a little bit too cold because there's also a little bit of ice in there. 3, under 3, over 4. And we're back down to 2 again. I guess I'm just not that interesting this morning. Or people have other things planned, or whatever. Under 3. Under 3, there we go. Over 4. Under 3. I'm thinking I can probably get this done in the next, maybe 5 to 10 hours. At the rate I'm going. Maybe a bit longer. I'm not always the best judge of time. Partly because a lot of the length of these runs from the rails up to here when you start. And when you get close to the end of the tama, you forget you have to work your way back up to here. And that takes a little more time. But some of these tama are starting to look like they're getting close to hitting the leader. So, and I've already got, looks like close to 2 feet or more. So, we'll see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, which is one of the reasons I need to get the warping stand done for Rob's braid. Also, Spunky Diva, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, anything about the channel, anything about braiding in general, CNC, whatnot, feel free to ask. That's part of why I do these live, is to be able to answer questions like that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4. Also, one of the things I want to do tonight is get a bunch of shorts prepped and ready to upload so I can help boost the viewership a bit. Sorry if I get too focused on how I run and grow this channel. I'm looking for something that maybe in the next few years can sustain itself so I can keep doing this as a hobby, build my skills up, teach people. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. Yeah, it is kind of a lazy type of day. Unfortunately, I have some looming deadlines, so. And 1, over 2, under 3, over 3, under 4, over 4 more on the top, under 3 on the bottom. And 1, 2, 3. Since I'm probably going to have Rob's braid on my Takadai, I'm not going to be transporting that to me for the 3 weeks I'm at the event in Pennsylvania, or Western Pennsylvania. So I was thinking I'm going to take a... actually, I will take this cam setup because I'll be doing marudai braiding out there. So I can stream that. I really can't use the internet out there, so I'm going to have to use my cellular connection or cellular Wi-Fi, tethered Wi-Fi, whatever, to stream it. So I may not be able to do that higher resolution streaming, but after last year's experience, I know I absolutely cannot go 3 weeks without streaming and uploading video. But I was thinking what might be nice is finding the people who do Kumihimo out there and seeing if they are willing to have me kind of like interview them and live stream them braiding, so people can see how other people so you can see how other people do this, see the types of stuff they do, because not everybody does the same type of braiding I do. I figured that might be fun and useful content for people. Is it bad that every time I say content, I feel dirty? Like I've fallen into corporate buzzword bingo. At least I'm not saying synergy unironically. I'd be tempted to do Weird Al's corporate speak parody song, but I'm pretty sure YouTube would not allow that. And I think Al more than deserves to reap the rewards of his wonderful work. I've been listening to Weird Al since, I think, his first album. I'm pretty sure I remember listening to Dr. Demento when I was a kid, right when his first couple of songs came out. And I know I was listening to him before his second album came out. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was trying to figure the best way to do that, and I figured, do stuff at in that 3-week period. And I thought that it would actually be a nice way to get other people's work out there, let people see how other braiders do their work, and maybe encourage some people to start who felt it was just like a little too much effort, to see how how little it actually takes to get started. Like I said, I started with a piece of cardboard cut from the side of a 12-pack of soda and a couple of skeins of DMC floss. I think it was 8 skeins. So basically $4 and somebody willing to let you take their empty 12-pack to the garbage. I do have to be careful. They have publicity limitations at the event, which is understandable. People, it's kind of meant as an immersion event rather than like a Ren Fair put on for the public. So they don't want just a bunch of random people coming through and videoing things. So I'd have to make sure I get permission from the people and make sure it's only their stuff and or them if they want to be on camera shown. So I also need to send a note to Rob to let him know that when I start doing his stuff, he's got a standing invitation to come on if he would like, but no requirement, of course. And see how he wants me to let him know about that or not. I should also occasionally throw a link to Ian if he ever wants to stop on again. But I know he's been really busy this last week or so, heading over to the funeral over in England. And I know he gets tired and hurting fairly regularly, so well, I definitely appreciate him coming on and enjoy talking with him. I don't want to make him feel like he's got obligations to do it when he doesn't feel great. Nice. Yep. I'll bump it up to full size for a little bit for you. There we go. I'll leave that up there for a minute or two, then move back. I am going to try and have more 3D printing content. I'm not sure I can really stream it a lot other than like what I'm doing here, but I enjoy 3D printing and doing other CNC stuff, so that's one of the things I want to get more on the channel. 2, 3, under 3, over 4. And something is wrong here because that looks messed up. All right. Ah, I see where I went wrong. I wasn't quite done on the other side. Too bad I can't really blow it up any further than that. This does have a webcam feed somehow, so I might actually be able to get it as a second camera, but I'll have to look into it more. Hey, welcome on, Kathleen. Nice to see you. Just a lazy Sunday afternoon while I'm braiding and chatting with people. And now that I've had enough caffeine to hopefully ward off the impending caffeine withdrawal that I realized was starting, that I'll be a little more chipper and chatty. Okay, so I need to do the top one on the left. Actually, something is wrong here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, no, that looks right. And we're gonna have one more white on the top. Yeah, okay, all right. So 1, 2, 3 under the fourth one, over 4 on the top, and under 3. Well, it's a Sunday, Kathleen, so I can understand why they might want to keep as late as possible. I did try and sleep in late. I don't know if it's the pro vigil or whatnot, but I got about 6 or so hours sleep and woke up for a little while, tried to go back to sleep. I think I got about another hour before I decided I might as well get up and get going for the day. But today, since I got the wood for it yesterday, I am going to be starting on the sign for the gaming tents at Penzic. I need to cut them to length, plane them to the right thickness, program the designs in for the CNC router, and then I also got the wood for the warping frame for the next braid I'm going to do. That it'll just be cut to length, screw together, and attach the binder clips. So I need to get about 24 1-inch binder clips and 2 2-inch binder clips. Speaking of binder clips, the thing where you can like clip or put a clip on the back of a cat's neck and get it to not really be paralyzed, but just super, super relaxed. We have a cat that we really need to trim her fur down in the spring because she gets it all knotty because she's not able to maintain it properly. We used to have her take her into a groomer and have them do it, but apparently we don't really have cat groomers in the area anymore after COVID. And the vets won't do it unless they have to sedate the cat. And apparently they're able to do it without sedating the cat. So I'm thinking that if I get the catnosis or whatever clip. Supposedly a 2-inch binder clip will work for that, but I prefer something that might be a little safer. But they say that the pressure that one does is light enough that you can keep it on a cat for a couple hours without causing an injury. But they supposedly have designed and made one specifically for that purpose, so I'd probably be more comfortable doing that. But if we get that, then we might be able to get the cat to let us trim her fur down to where she's not so uncomfortable in the summer. Let's see. Yeah, I can't stand coffee. I mean, I'm reasonably okay with the smell, but it's not great for me. But I can't stand the taste. And I have done caffeinated sodas, but I'm trying to get off all soda, regular or diet, caffeinated or not. So I've been drinking a lot of flavored seltzers that are not color. They don't put in colors, and they don't use sweeteners in them. It's just like fruit flavors and the like. So essentially, all you're getting is water with a little bit of carbon dioxide in it. And eventually just taking like a caffeine pill once a day. Also, especially since I started on the Pro Vigil, I'm trying to wean my caffeine intake down now that I no longer really need it to stay awake. But I don't want to go entirely off of it, because my experience has been once I'm entirely off of it for like 3 months or so, I start getting really bad migraines, which may not be the case now that the CPAP seems to be doing its job mostly. But we'll see how it goes. And I can tell the caffeine's kicked enough that I've started to go rambling again. Rambling. Keep the chatter rambling. Rambling. Streaming. Yeah, there's a reason I don't sing normally. All right, so 1, 2 under the third, over 4 on the top, under 3 on the bottom. And I'm assuming the poor baby comment was for the cat. Yes, we've gotten her to the point where she likes being petted. When she was a kitten, we could tell that she liked being petted, but since she was a feral trapped in our backyard, she was kind of terrified of us getting close to her. But we've gotten her to the point where she likes it when we pet her. If we pet other cats, she'll come over to get her pettings. But she's now gotten to the point where we can like brush her, but her fur is long enough and she doesn't really know how to properly groom herself, to the point that we really need to trim her down every so often. So coming up with something that'll let us trim her without her getting freaked out and running off would be really nice. Even if we can just cut the knots out with scissors while we're doing that, even if we don't use like electric trimmers, it'll be a step up. And 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. Definitely making good progress on this braid. 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3 on the back. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4 on the top. Don't know if I'll keep this braid. It's in the colors of the East Kingdom. They're purple and gold of the SCA. I don't know if they'll have an issue with the white or not, but it might be something to donate to the Royals for herald or regalia, or just stuff that they can wear for events and whatnot. And 2, 3, under 3, over 4. Also, with this braid, I really should be using 6-pin coma, but I need to make a set or two for me. It would keep the threads a little further apart and just make it easier to weave my fingers through for opening the shed. Yep. We're back down to 2 again. We get a lot of people dropping in, but not staying too long. Yep, there are definitely ways to remove the bit. I'm sorry. So you know what I'm talking about. There are definitely ways to remove the bitterness. It's just I don't like the flavor in general, not so much the bitterness. I don't like coffee flavored or even really mocha flavored candies and stuff like that, where most of the bitterness is just gone. Just not a flavor I enjoy. And the 4, over 4, under the 3, and over 4 in the back. There we go. That sounds like that would be very amusing to watch. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 4 on the top, under 3 on the bottom. But I am aware of the trick of adding like just a little bit of salt to coffee, and it doesn't really change the flavor, but the bitterness is cut way back. 1, 2, over 3, over 3, under 3 in the back, under 3 on the bottom, over 4 on the back. And 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yep. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. There we go. That's better. Yeah, my attention level seems to be a bit low, but fortunately this pattern is really easy to identify when you've gone off track. If you're familiar with it, things just don't look right, and the fact that you've got color symmetry on both sides, and you can easily use that to track when you have an issue, helps a lot. Nice. That's a pretty decent age. My roommate, when she was living with us, had a cat before she moved to Texas. She took him with her. I think he lived to be like 21 or 22. He was an old Siamese. He had a tendency to like yell at the ghosts in our hallway. And we actually had people on the phone with my wife saying, "Do you have a goat?" So, but yes, Mr. Zonkers enjoyed being vocal in his displeasure at certain things. And we would say that when he was in the hallway, he was warding us from the interdimensional demons that were trying to break through his sonic defense. He was very particular about things and would be vocal if they weren't the way they were supposed to be. Roommate did move back from her after a time in Texas. She has another Siamese, but that one is almost entirely silent. She's also very small. Her name is Miss Sugars. Oh, Mr. Z was short for Zonker. 2, 3, under 4, over 4, under 3. We've been going about an hour and a quarter. That's not too bad. Yeah, the first one, if I understand, was a seal point, and the current one is apple-faced. And 1, 2, 3. Current one has a lot of allergies, and she's trained most of us how to get her to clean out her sinuses by giving her head rubs that you would normally think would be like extremely uncomfortable for the cat, but the cat really enjoys them and gets upset if you don't do it when she needs it. And I lost my train of thought on that. But oh yes, the other thing is that when she moved up here from Texas, she was very unhappy that she no longer had lizard jerky to play with anymore. She would catch, and I don't know if they were already dead or killed, or she killed the lizards, but she'd have fun batting around and chewing on the mummified lizards from the Texas heat. And there's no lizards up here for lizard jerky. We do have salamanders, but they stay out of the house. And there we go. One more in time for another coma slide. So the theoretically, the 3D print I'm going should end up just shortly after I finish the stream. But I haven't looked to see where it is. 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. So after I do the coma slide, I'll take a quick look, see where it is in the process. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4. Should also take a quick look at the back, make sure that I haven't made a mistake back there that's not visible from the top, because these two parallel braids only connect at the edge and don't really interact with each other than the edge pieces. Over 4, under 3. Yep. All right, so let's look at the back. The back looks good. That's the pattern it's supposed to be. And we'll just do a coma slide here. Okay. Here we go. All right, let's take a quick look at our printing job. Well, it says it's 47% printed. All right, so it says it's estimating there's about an hour and 40 minutes left to go. And the original slicer said it's expecting 56 minutes. However, the way the slicer works, the way this estimates is based off the amount of G code that's left and the speed it's going through it. The slicer ran the whole program as it created it and estimated based off the speed you'd set how long it would take. And there's some variation depending on the actual speed and acceleration of your printer. So for these designs, it's tend to run a little bit, but not a lot over the slicer estimate. So I'm guessing it'll probably be like an hour and 10 minutes till it's done. It's run for an hour and 42 minutes so far. So its estimate is it'll be done at 3:42 my time zone, which is in an hour and 23 minutes or something like that. So go ahead and bring it back up the webcam view. So let's see. Not sure if the mouse is showing up on StreamYard because I can't see it while I'm doing this because I don't have enough monitors. But the infill is almost done. Once it gets past there and starts doing that ring, it's going to run a lot faster. The layers are going to finish faster. So, all right. Let me go back to StreamYard and bring myself back in. There we go. All right. Hopefully that was a useful excursion. Let me take a quick check. Nobody's chatting on Rumble, though I have 3 people watching there. So 3 people there and 3 people on YouTube. So we're up to 6 people. That's pretty good for a Sunday afternoon lunchtime stream. All right. I may have waited a little bit too late for the caffeine. Got a little bit of a headache, but hopefully that'll resolve fairly soon. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, and under 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4. One of the things I probably should do a little bit more research on is a good CNC laser for Ian Runkle. He needs to be able to do his laser cutting on leather. And leather is actually a very hard material to properly laser cut. And I'm doing the wrong one there. All right, so get the white on the back there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one, over 4 on the top, and 2 on the back. There we go. That's the one it should be. All right, now we're back to color symmetry. You need something on the order of 20 to 40 watts of output laser power to be able to, and at the right light frequency, to be able to cleanly cut leather without just burning it to all get out. Most of the CNC lasers for like wood and other plastic and metal or etching metal that you can get relatively inexpensively tend to be diode lasers, and they tend to either be blue or leaning into ultraviolet frequencies, which are pretty good for what they're normally used for, but laser kind of needs into the infrared end of the spectrum, and for that you need CO2. You can also use a fiber laser, from what I understand, but they tend to be really expensive at the powers and frequencies you need. There are some relatively inexpensive 40-watt CO2 lasers. The problem is you need to get one that will move fast enough to be able to give you clean cuts in leather without, again, burning the crap out of it, because if you run really slow cuts, all you're doing is just burning it up. You're not actually cutting. And you also need like a air assist where it blows compressed air into the cut to get the smoke and burn bits out of your cut. But since you're essentially burning tanned leather, there are chemicals that are produced that you don't want to breathe, so you also need good air handling. So you need essentially like a closed up unit that can pipe the fumes out of the room you're in so you don't breathe them. And you can get a pretty much guaranteed to work unit we're in the range of like $10,000 to $20,000, which is like way expensive for where you're doing something as a hobby and you're not making a ton of money from other sources. And I know Ian's a lawyer, and he's reasonably well off, and he gets some money from the YouTube stuff, but he's not like that well off that you can just drop it for something that's not going to really provide a lot of direct income. Now, if it was somebody who was leatherworking as a business, getting one for that would easily justify itself. But most of the leatherworking he does, as I understand, is donations. And it's not like a direct income back for that. So, but the thing is you can actually find for like about $2,000 a pretty decent laser for that. But the problem is they're not always easily findable. Sometimes you have to go on like YouTube, not YouTube, eBay to get it, or need to be able to track down where in China they're selling the current clone of the more popular model at a reasonable price. And I haven't done the research to get to that level, but probably what it's going to be involving is getting onto a CO2 laser cutter forum and figuring out what's going on. The other thing is that what a lot of people have done is not really get an assembled unit. They've gotten a one of the cheaper units that have the real 40-watt CO2 lasing components, and pulled those out and put them into a different machine that has the better other end components. And they're overall, that does not look right. So I have done something wrong here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's the bottom there. All right, so what did I do wrong there? 2. Okay, I did not finish the top here. That's what I did the right move, but I hadn't laid everything in advance where it's supposed to be. That's what I get for thinking too much about other things than braiding while I'm doing it. But I'm getting better at that. So yeah, I think what I probably will do when I have the opportunity, probably while I'm at Pennsic, because while I'm at Pennsic, my job is sitting in a box all day long. I did something wrong here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think I did this side twice. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I did this side ahead of time, so let me undo that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3. All right, so this one goes back up here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a second so I don't distract myself too much. Nope, that one actually goes all the way down because I'm unbraiding. Okay, so this is the right one, but I'm end up doing it the hard way. Flip that one over. Right. It's interesting. It's weird that that one got over there. All right. So that one goes on the back. Okay, so 4 and 4. All right. That looks reasonably right. Hopefully I haven't messed things up too much. So 1 and 1. All right, so I need to start on the right side. And 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. And 1, 2, under 3, over 4, under 3. Goes over here. All right, those went through right. They look good. And 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4. All right, this one should pass through here. Yep, it looks like it went through right. And 1, 2, 3, under 4, over 4, under 3. Top one passes on through. All right. Okay, pattern looks right there. Let's flip it over. Also looks right on the back. Okay, I think I'm back where I'm supposed to be. All right, so we'll do one more real quick before I pay attention to the chat and get lost in my thoughts again. And just make sure it looks right. Because sometimes you try and fix a mistake, you do one step and it looks right at that step, but the next one is like, nope, I made a mistake somewhere. I got to back up a bit further. All right. So, okay, that still looks right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, under 3, over 4 on the top back. Pass that on through. And 1, 2, 3, under the 4th on the bottom, over 4 on the top, under the last 3 on the bottom. Pass that on through. All right, take a quick check. We have color symmetry, top and bottom. We are even on where things are on the pins. All right, so we are good. Yep. Okay. Do a quick little full screen here for people interested in the 3D printer. Looks like it's just about ready to start doing the top portion there. All right, we'll go back to that view. And we're about an hour and a half in. So we're up to 4 people on YouTube again. See how we're doing on Rumble, see if anybody actually responded to my Rumble rant. It says 3 are watching. Let me do a quick refresh on there, see if something else that I missed. Still 3 watching. I managed to clear out my chat, so I don't see it anymore. Have to remember that. Okay. Oops. Let me bring it back up to the YouTube studio. That tends to be a little more useful for paying attention to chats and stuff like that. Alrighty. And 1, 2, 3. All right, so what I was thinking about for the laser is try and find a good way of getting a decent quality 40-watt CO2 system for Runkle in the $2,000 to $3,000 ballpark, something that he can, afford and justify, but isn't like making his wallet scream in the process, or at least not at levels he's not comfortable with. So that would be nice to do that for him if I can. I did get his braid mailed off Saturday morning. And tracking shows that it should get to him in 3 to 7 business days. So he might have it by Friday Night Friends Day of next week. But my guess is that's a 50-50 thing. but he should have it by his Monday stream for not this upcoming one tomorrow, but the one after that. All right, 4. Okay, so yep, ready to start the cycle again. And I'm thinking I need to get to where I can oops, add one jump pin here. I need to start using my shop equipment a little more, get more projects running, hopefully stuff that maybe I can make money off of going on a regular basis. I still need to ask that question as to whether or not I can do randomized YouTube chat giveaway things that the StreamYard can do without having an issue for stuff that I'm not selling, and it's not as a promotion for selling. It's just kind of a thank you for being on the stream and do something nice for people. So, because I know when Ian did one of his giveaways, he had to during the giveaways, he had to research all the Canadian law and U.S. law so he could do it where it wouldn't run afoul of stuff. But that's also for stuff that's actually worth a fair amount more than what I'm thinking of giving away. It might be a de minimis level of value where it's not worth it to, where the law, the rules don't require you to go through all the steps for something that's not worth all that much, dollar-wise, pound-wise, peso-wise, kroner-wise, shekel, ruble. I might have to be careful on international shipping. At least Canada, I'm usually fine too. It's not that much more, especially the weights I'm getting involved with. When I was looking shipping rates for shipping Takadais or Tama to England for people, the shipping costs were actually as much or more than the cost of the material they're getting themselves, and getting a local source might be a better option, unfortunately for me. But I know I usually make an offer to people in England who would like the Tama shells I make to send it over to them with no steel in it to keep the weight down so that the shipping cost is not so ridiculously high. And then they can get steel rod locally and tell them how long they need to cut it to length to get it to be the proper weight. So I have to be careful as far as being in England. They have to deal with the fact that they've got essentially metric sizes for the most affordable commercial materials, and have to figure out if there's a close enough metric equivalent that they can get that will work, or if they're going to have to get a standard SAE type measurement. Starting to get a little rundown again. I think that may be due to the fact that I didn't really eat lunch. So when I get off stream, I'll have a bite to eat. I should know by about 6 o'clock or so if I'm going to stream again tonight or not, or about 3.5 hours from now. If I'm not going to stream tonight, I'll set up for tomorrow morning's stream once I get a chance to talk to my wife and see what her schedule is going to be, so I don't screw up or interfere with her schedule. The pepper plants that made us late to get home for the stream yesterday have been planted. They look pretty good. One thing we're a little concerned about, something is wrong there. That is not sitting the way it's supposed to. So where did I screw up? All right, so, there we go. As usual, I forgot to do the other half on this. Let's just make sure I did the first one right. All right. Does this go back the way? Yes, it does. Okay. I just forgot the second half. I guess I'm just eager to start the next rendition. What I was trying to say is one thing we're concerned about is we got a maple tree sapling about 3 years ago and planted it in our front yard to replace where we had a maple tree when we bought the house, but was diseased or actually dying, and its core was mostly rotten, and we had to take it down for safety's sake. Let's see, that one jumped a pin there. So we had like about somewhere between 5 and 10 years where we didn't have a tree there. And it's like, the house is a lot cooler when we do have a tree there. So we'll get one planted, and hopefully in another 5 to 10 years, it'll be cooler. So like I said, we got it 3 years ago, and pretty much everything has budded out and leafed out in our area, except that tree has not done so. It's got buds, so it looks like it's probably not dead. And the thing is we're worried that the fact that it hasn't actually gone beyond the slight budding stage when everything else is really leafed out. My hickory saplings that I planted like 3 or 4 years back leafed out like a little over a month ago, and they're looking like they're doing really well. So hopefully the tree is okay, and it's just a little dormant for some reason. But my wife's making sure to water it some more. She hasn't really watered it, so it's not like we're not worried that it got root rot or something like that. It's just that since it hasn't been budding out and leafing out like normal, she's adding more water in case it was damaged by the drought last year. Give it a little extra water to get it going. The temperatures are good. So, and unfortunately, if it did die, we've got to dig it out of there and plant a new one. And we're like another 3 years behind the 8 ball on that. Because the best time to have planted a tree is 10 years ago. The second best time to have planted a tree is today. So we planted one 3 years ago and really don't want to have to reset the clock. So that's been bothering my wife a bit. But yeah, all our other trees have leafed out and are the dogwood's actually flowering. My wife jokes about the fact that she stole that one because she saved a seed from the dogwood tree at our church, brought it home, put it in the wet paper towel in the refrigerator for about a month to try and get it to start sprouting. Finally got it to sprout and planted it, and we've had that one for about 4 years growing now, and it's getting to the point where it's about ready to probably start shooting up faster. It's just under shoulder height on me at the moment. Last year when we had our plumbing work, or actually I think it's about 2 years ago when we had some plumbing work done, they had to lift the whole thing up and move it out of the way so they could get to the I'm making a mistake here. I have not done the top on that, so let's put that back. And yeah, all right. Do it the right way. So yeah, they had to, when they put it back though, it was a little bit of an angle. We tried to right it as much as we could, but it was a bit off. But it looks like it's mostly going straight up, so it's going to have just kind of like a little bit of slope at its base, kind of curving curving up just a little bit like that to go straight. So, okay. And 1, 2, 3, under 3, over 4. There we go. Yeah, we're about an hour and 42 minutes. I might end the stream in just a little bit. Grab something to eat. Does anybody have anything they'd like to go over? Any questions or commentary? And I will, after I finish on this side, I'm going to bring up the 3D printing just so people can see it for a little bit before I get ready to shut down the stream. See how much progress has been made. I hope people like that. If you weren't in chat and you're watching this in the future, if you could let me know if it was, leave a comment to let me know if it was something that you liked, enjoyed, or it was a distraction. I'm trying to gauge if it's worth doing this more in the future, having prints running, because it'll help me make sure I've got work lined up for the printer. So as we go forward, or, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I know while we don't have kids ourselves, with my wife and I, we know plenty of people that we're friends with that do. And yeah, there's some times where it's just like, you need to talk to an adult. Doesn't matter about what. You just need to do something where it's not like, here, have a juice box or eat your chicken nuggies. Oh, speaking of which, there is an amusing TikToker that I like to occasionally catch what she produces in shorts. Call Me Chris is her username, and she does a great single mother with a 5-year-old girl who is neighbors with a Russian lady with 2 kids that are like super geniuses. And this Call Me Chris does all of the parts, just like different hats and whatnot. When she's playing the kids, she has this little teeny hand thing that she uses to signify that. Really good voice acting. So I find it amusing. But yeah, it's definitely gives you a good grasp of sometimes you just need to talk to an adult. So sorry if I went too rambly on that. But I'm happy to point out people who produce things that are worth watching, in my opinion. Hopefully share that with them. Well, I think she's got like 8 million subs on YouTube and I don't know how many on TikTok. That's another thing I have to consider is whether or not I want to get like a expand on the TikTok for my shorts and stuff like that. I know you can get a lot of people watching your stuff there, but I just don't like TikTok. So also wondering if I should start, putting my video onto Facebook. StreamYard lets me do that, but I'm not sure I really have anything to set up, and I don't know if I have enough friends or whatnot, or if I need to set up a separate account for that. Let me switch back to that. All right. I think that was pretty much everything I had to talk about today. And yeah, me neither. Most of the TikTok video I see are stuff that's been converted over to YouTube Shorts. So, all right. Yep, I'm drawing a blank on anything else that I need to say. So I will go ahead and end the stream here. Oh, that was one of the things I wanted to ask. Just, you don't need to answer it right now, but like leave a comment or maybe on the community tab, make a comment there. Should I start using the community tab to post pictures of stuff in progress so people can see like the output of this stuff like that? or if I should just go ahead and like post them to Twitter or Facebook, where people actually probably Twitter would be better for the pictures, just because that way anybody can see them, and I don't have to remember to make them public on Facebook. But yeah, if I should start post the pictures of the work in progress there or not. But yeah, leave a comment on this or other videos, or the community page. I get notifications when people post comments, and YouTube's got a nice feature where I can look through unresponded to comments, so I should be able to see them fairly quickly there. So sorry to hear about the injuries. I can understand that as well. Though I have noticed with people a lot of times, if you don't, and they've made jokes out of this, that if you don't respond horrified to when the kids have a minor boo-boo, that they just keep on going and not even really acknowledge it that much. But yeah. Okay, so thanks again for everybody who stopped by. I appreciate that. It's been a nice stream, made a fair amount of progress, made a lot of mistakes, but fortunately nothing that I didn't catch. The front and back both look right. And like I said, this one, mistakes show up very obviously very early on, so it's easy to tell when you've messed something up. So everybody have a happy day, stay safe, and happy braiding.